Drop that beat.
Kwani at, yo? Kwani, where the fuck you at? Ah!
In the heart of Philadelphia, a deadly feud has gripped the streets. A conflict between rival gangs has left a trail of bloodshed, tearing apart communities and claiming countless lives. This is the story of YBC and their rivals Omerta and the 25th Street Gang. A story of revenge, power, and a relentless cycle of violence. YBC, or Young Bag Chasers, emerged from the streets of Philadelphia as a crew that embodied the ambitions and the struggles of the city's youth. But beneath the surface of their hustle, a dark undercurrent of violence will lead to the loss of several members, each death pushing them further into a cycle of retaliation and bloodshed. The death of YBC DUL, one of their most prominent members, marked a devastating blow to the crew. DUL was gunned down in the streets of West Philadelphia on August 23, 2024, in an act of violence that shook the city.
For me, anywhere I go, nobody don't play with me. I never got robbed. I never got touched, shot at in the city yet.
Yeah, Shari, as you said, 2 men are dead tonight. These shootings happening just a few hours apart, but police say right now it's too early to know if they may be connected, and right now no arrests have been made. Chopper video shows that first seen around 3:30 on North 6th Street in Olney, a white Hyundai SUV held there as part of the investigation. Police say a 25-year-old man was killed after being shot in the chest and hand, but they are still working to find where the shooting happened. Sources ID him as Abdul Vix, a rapper known as YBC DUL, affiliated with the West Philadelphia Young Bag Chasers, or YBC gang. A short time later, just after 6, police say at least 2 shooters opened fire on a man walking on 12th near Fairmount in North Philadelphia. Chopper video shows police focusing on this gray Hyundai that was riddled with bullets. Police say the man ran into this vehicle seeking cover. Inside was a 9-year-old who was shot in the leg and another man who was uninjured. Both shooting victims then ran into a nearby home and were taken to the hospital from there.
It's unclear whether he knew the people in that vehicle or not. He ended up attracting gunfire to a vehicle that was sitting there with an adult male and a 9-year-old child. The 9-year-old child was then an unintended target of the shooting. That car took quite a bit of gunfire.
We don't shoot from far. We gon' get up close and hit on fast and tap his wig regardless. He try to run, we on his ass and switches hit the hardest. Some chasers, they gon' chase his ass. He was out there loafing on that block, his face arranged the fast. Don't show no sympathy for eyes, we try and give him gas. Broski dangerous, sometimes leave the house and he say fuck him ass. And he say fuck him ass.
A violent gang based in West Philadelphia, allied with the Young Face Arrangers, or YFA, from North Philadelphia. Both gangs gained notoriety for their involvement in multiple homicides and for using drill rap to boast about their crimes. YBC's influence grew significantly since 2019, with social media clout and drill rap playing a major role in their reputation. The gang was responsible for escalating violence in West Philadelphia, particularly in the deadliest year ever in 2021. On May 25, 2021, YBC members killed two teenagers, Nazir Marks and Kanye Pittman, in separate incidents within 30 minutes of each other. Marks was mistakenly identified as a rival gang member, while Pittman was targeted directly. 2 months later, on July 21, 2021, YBC members including Arshard Curry, aka Most Wanted, and Raheem Sherman, aka Five, killed two more teens, Kaylin Johnson and Tommy Frazier, who had no connection to gang conflicts. On September 16, 2021, Sidney Sessoms, a 19-year-old from Philadelphia, was gunned down in cold blood in his own home. Arshard Curry, aka Most Wanted, along with an unidentified accomplice, pursued Sessoms into his residence on Wyco Street in the Port Richmond neighborhood. Once inside, Curry and his associate unleashed a brutal attack, shooting Sessoms in the chest. The young man died from his injuries, his life cut short in a moment of violence. The aftermath was chaotic as Curry fled the scene. However, he couldn't escape justice for long. Authorities found him hiding under a van not far from the crime scene, desperate to avoid capture. The murder weapon, along with crucial data recovered from Curry's cell phone, became key pieces of evidence in the case, sealing his fate as Sessom's killer. The crazy part is, Curry is reportedly only 4'7", literally a little demon.
A violent gang member will serve up to 85 years behind bars for his role in the deaths of 3 teenagers. Shawnette, we heard from one of the victims' grieving mothers after the sentencing.
Well, Chris, that mother says that she was harassed by gang members who bragged about the murder. She also says that her son was a student athlete who also excelled academically.
Just imagine sending your son to school and he don't come home from school.
Emily Johnson is numb still over the murder of her son, 16-year-old Kaylin Johnson, after which she says his killers taunted her and bragged about it in music they made.
Not only does your only child not return home from school, you getting trolled by, you're getting harassed by a bunch of untalented rappers dissing you about your son that was, an accident.
Johnson spoke tearfully today during the district attorney's weekly news conference. Larry Krasner announced the conviction of Kaylin's killer, 22-year-old Arshard Curry, seen here in pictures the DA displayed during the news conference. Curry is the 5th of 5 YBC members, which stands for Young Bag Chasers.
The new name is You've Been Charged. And the newer name is You've Been Convicted.
Krasner says Kaylin isn't the only victim.
We are looking at multiple murders, multiple shootings.
Kaylin was killed July 1st of 2021. Investigators say 2 YBC members, including Curry, were in a van that followed a group of kids leaving Boys Latin in a car. Curry pulled up alongside the car at a red light at 56th and Vine.
Arshard Curry opens a van door and sprays a vehicle with 10mm rounds.
Kaylin was killed along with Tommy Frazier. A third person was injured. Neither one of them were the intended target.
This one crime took 9 people off the street. My son who's no longer here, the remainder that are in jail that are never coming home. Who's winning?
And again, Curry could spend up to 85 years in prison. Shiva?
Kaylin's mom, a real symbol of courage there.
"34 shots, 13 big bullet shells from an assault rifle, 21 shots from a 9mm. Now the number has grown to 41 evidence markers here in the street. And you can see a SEPTA bus now stopped, where Bob Kelly will note that this street, 33rd, very busy, now blocking traffic, and it will be for some time because this is now a murder scene. And it's not just here, but it's also on Monument and 33rd, where a third vehicle that was involved and third victim shot with another bullet-riddled car. Let's give you a close-up of where I am right now, and you'll see 2 cars. The first one that will grab your attention is a Volkswagen white SUV, and look at that driver's door. Lots of bullet holes through the door. Lots went through the window, one even through the rear view mirror. And you can understand why we had a woman, 24-year-old, shot and killed here. A second woman, 26 years old, shot 3 times and critical at last check. A third woman, 32, shot 5 times and critical at last check, and it could have been even worse, noting that all the shots were fired, one from a powerful assault rifle at very close range. And what happened was these women were hanging out in a bar at 26th and Sargent called Pepper's Restaurant and Twerk Bar. That is supposed to close at 1. They left there sometime between 1 and 2 in 3 vehicles. We don't even have an exact number on the number of women because many of them that weren't shot ran out of these 3 vehicles for their lives, and police are hoping that they will cooperate and come back and let police know that they were part of this and saw something to help police figure out why someone wanted to kill them. But police think somebody followed them from Pepper's Restaurant and Twerk Bar, and then when they got about 10 blocks away and stopped at a stoplight, the 3 vehicles were 1, 2, 3 behind each other, all driving together home, when somebody got out of another vehicle and began firing. And then as the women drove through the intersection to get away, they followed them and fired even more as they got up here closer to 33rd Street where we are and where 2 of the cars stopped. The 3rd car, we're going to show you a video of that now, a Toyota that's now up on the sidewalk, also with bullet holes in it. And notice that is obviously a young mother's car. And why do I say that? Because I walked up to it, I saw a baby on board sign in the back. I saw little baby Air Jordans dangling from the rear view mirror. So a young mother caught in this murderous mayhem out here. 408 homicides. You heard Sue Serio say we're just days away from October. Philly police fear that. This has been the most violent 2.5 weeks in an already violent 2021. But why do they fear the fall is the most violent month of the year now? Last October had 66 homicides, the deadliest murderous month in Philadelphia history, and they fear they could have a repeat the way things are going right now. Thomas?
Just an absolutely alarming scene. Another one here, as you pointed out, 41 evidence markers and a number of bullet holes in those vehicles. Keep us updated on the investigation, Steve.
The botched murder for hire orchestrated by members of the Omerta gang, led by Jaleel Williams, resulted in the tragic death of 24-year-old Chandra Jones and the injury of 2 other women aged 27 and 28 at 33rd and Diamond Streets in Philadelphia on September 16, 2021. This incident was an egregious error as the intended target was not Jones, but rather someone else. The 2 women who survived the shooting were rushed to Temple University Hospital. The 27-year-old woman was in critical condition after being shot in the chest, while the 28-year-old sustained a gunshot wound to her arm. These women were innocent bystanders caught in the crossfires of a gang-related feud that had nothing to do with them. Williams, along with gang members Kyer Garnett and Hanif Robertson, were later arrested and indicted for their roles in the shooting. The charges against them included murder in the aid of racketeering and other violent crimes associated with their affiliation with the Omerta gang, which operated in North Philadelphia's Strawberry Mansion neighborhood. The indictment against them also detailed their involvement in other criminal activities, including drug trafficking, counterfeit money schemes, and a range of violent acts.
Mr. Disrespectful, I don't give a fuck who you is. Y'all know what the fuck is going on. And we the young niggas.
Y'all condone rats.
Y'all niggas condone rats, nigga. Y'all boys rats.
Them no chills rats, nigga.
Alright, stop recording.
Then it got a game, nigga.
And we on whatever y'all want.
The gang landscape in Philly is so complex and interconnected that I can't cover everything in this one video. What began as a deep dive into YBC DUL's downfall has taken me further into the violent web gripping the city. In a future video, I'll explore more Philly gangs, some tied to Omerta and YBC, others operating independently with their own identities. This is JC King. This video won't be monetized due to copyright content, but if you appreciate the work, please like, subscribe, and consider joining my Patreon for $1.99 a month as a day one. I'll see you next time.
I'm motherfucking no place, in the ball away, no place. Down my love, shit, no place. Pick up fucking help in no place. On my hand with case. People like to save myself. Bust the motherfucking no place. Bust the motherfucking no place. In the ball away,